I grew up with an alcoholic, narcissistic parent, and, relationships with narcissistic abusers are often referred to as one-on-one cults because
Mm,
it's a very similar power dynamic. And then I was in AA for a few years, and I've also just been very recently unpacking actually how culty that was. Um, and how
AA.
so much of it was, yeah, very um, Christian oriented with the language, very patriarchal, very kind of you're either in or out.
Mhm.
I've been kind of
Well, and
going
then
down
isn't
a
that like with the sponsor too, right? You have to like
yeah.
have a sponsor that you look up to that kind of has a little bit of, I mean, you know better than me. I've
They can
just,
only a sponsor. The only requirement is that they have one more day sober than you. So you're
right,
like
okay.
running your every life decision past me, past Nick, who has one more day sober than me.
I'm a year, yeah, like I'm a year older than you. So it's
Like, but
should I be giving you any kind of life advice
oh,
or
and I mean, I
any?
had sponsors who were younger than me, but
Wow.
like who were better at being sober because I was not. I struggled to I really struggled to get there. Luckily now I'm like terrified of alcohol. I'm like, girl, you know where that leads. It's not good. Um, I'm what they
Well,
would
that's
call
good. That's something you should really be proud of.
thank you. I'm what they would call California sober because I do partake in the marijuana. That doesn't affect my life in a negative and
Right.
detrimental way. Um, you know,
You know, I
so
talked to my therapist about this not that long ago. Um, I so I asked, I was just talking with her. I'm like, like what's alcoholism versus like habitual drinker versus an addict who wouldn't be able to do marijuana because it would fuck up their life, like to your point.
mhm.
And the way she put it, I hope she's not mad at me for saying no one knows who she is, but she was like, if somebody is a functioning alcoholic and or addict and their addiction isn't disrupting their life or their relationships or their success at work or sending them, down this path, she's like, I don't really think there should be a problem with it. If it's not ruining your life, whether it's marijuana, whether it's alcohol, whether it's some other
Ice
hard
cream.
drug or ice, well, seriously, how many people drink, sodas every day or I'm
Right.
a caffeine addict for sure.
Oh,
So it's like,
God,
but
yeah.
it disrupts my morning sometimes if I don't have enough coffee, where I'm like, oh God, everything's got to stop because I have to go get coffee.
But
But like,
your relationship with your family isn't ruined because of that.
right, or my job isn't
Yeah.
well, maybe my job is impacted actually if I don't
Um,
have enough caffeine, but
yeah, so actually I asked my therapist once, I was like, "Is it terrible that I watch so much TV and do so much of my socializing online and eat so so much Haagen-Dazs?" And she was like, until those become maladaptive, like those are coping mechanisms of yours, and until those become problematic, like you said, in your
mm,
relationships, in your career, in your goals or whatever, then that's fine. She was like,
yeah,
some people want to play fucking video games 14 hours a day. And if that's where they want to be, like in that alternate reality, and they still fucking, their relationships and their job and everything, like you said, if
yeah.
that's doing okay, then it's really because life is fucked, as we know. It's super hard. And people
So
who don't
fucked
have some
up.
kind of vice, I'm like, what do you like how?
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
I I fucking love Haagen-Dazs. I love coffee. I enjoy the marijuana. Like I have to have some shit to take the edge
Edge
off.
off,
And if
yeah.
some people, for them, if that's alcohol and it's not ruining their life in any capacity, like it's not great to be an alcoholic because it's really really bad for your
Your
body.
body, yeah.
um but yeah, I think you're super right in whether your habits are adaptive or maladaptive. If they're ruining your shit, it's not good. But I mean,
Hmm.
if you're fine, then fucking like do
And that's
you.
why, yeah, because the way this kind of came up was we were talking about like dry January, right? And maybe dry January should just be high January, but
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to
but
be all or nothing, which in
well, that's
AA
the
it does, and that's why I
I
left.
know. I actually that's so interesting about the AA stuff because I had kind of heard some of that, and it came this something else that came up in therapy with something else in my life about A because I asked, I'm like, you know, do you recommend people to go to AA? Because I don't hear anyone really talk about it anymore that has, struggles with their drinking. And it's interesting because I feel like alcohol is so a part of everything we do. I don't know what it's like. Here in Chicago, there's bars at the grocery store. Like Whole Foods has
Wow.
$3 mimosas on Sundays.
Bitch, shut
Okay.
up. I love
Yeah.
Whole Foods, but because of their
Yeah.
pizza. And I mean,
Um,
actually I just like I don't know. It's too expensive there. I get it. I hate Jeff Bezos. It's bougie, but
I
like don't
know.
you just feel good when you walk into Whole Foods?
You know
So
what's
just a
so
part of
funny
me is
is
just like,
I feel like I'm
ah.
being healthy. Like, forget the fact I got all this fried food in there, and like, you
You're
just
like, yeah, I had
feel healthier. I had two mimosas while I'm walking around.
yeah, there was orange juice. It was great. Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a big part of everything that we do in our culture.
Well, people will
It's
like look down on you or think you're weird if you're not having a drink.
I
Although I feel like
know.
that's a lot less now. And maybe that's because I'm an adult who socializes with other adults for the most part. Um, and who the fuck is in their late 30s or 40s going, why aren't you having a beer? Like, that'd be weird. And I'd be like, get out of my house?
I'm guilty of pushing shots on people if it's a little
Ah,
late, and
well, I
but
don't think you would
but I
do that
wouldn't.
to me, Nick,
No,
because
no, no, no,
I
no, no,
don't
no. I would
drink,
not.
right?
I would not.
Yeah.
But you know
So,
what? You know what though about that is also there's like non-alcoholic options now almost everywhere you go here.
oh
Like there's
yeah,
a whole
I
menu.
I love a mocktail. Okay, like I
Oh
still
yeah.
like to feel fancy. Like muddle some mint for me or something, motherfucker. I don't want just a Coke, you know?
You can yeah, get yourself a virgin Captain and Coke every now and
Or
then.
I get well, see, okay, actually, I have pretty strong feelings on that. I think that's really dangerous. The like the fake alcohol. I think that's a really slippery slope.
Well, I
Like
was
having
joking
like
because a Captain and Coke virgin is just a Coke.
oh,
But
I didn't hear the
that was
virgin
some
part. But did you
gentle
know that they
comedy.
make non-alcoholic alcohol?
Yeah,
So
I
like
do.
it tastes like gin, but it doesn't give you a buzz, or it
Yeah.
looks like wine, but it's non-alcoholic and it relaxes you. And I'm like, dude, as an alcoholic, that's a very slippery slope. That's very different than me having something that looks like a mojito but tastes like a minty Sprite. Like
Right,
different
right. It is
different
interesting too,
feels.
and I have a friend that drinks some of the non-alcoholic stuff now because he doesn't drink anymore. But it is weird because I've heard that it really tastes awful unless it's mixed in like a mocktail. Like on its own,
Yeah,
it
so
just
why
tastes
would
awful.
you because alcohol tastes awful. So it's like, yeah, it's weird to me that somebody would have like a fake gin and tonic. I'm like, that is just
Just
that's
have a
like playing
tonic.
beer pong with water instead. Like it's you're still like acting like an alcoholic. You're just not getting like the awesome effect of getting drunk
Yeah,
or the
which is like the
terrible effect
point.
of getting this the terrible the hangover. That's luckily my body is like not it's pretty sensitive, and the longer I was drinking in my 30s, the like because I relapsed for like about a year where I just went off the rails.
What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh no, that's okay. So it's when I was living in San Francisco, and I I had a couple years sober, and I moved up there to go to school, and I went one day and I hung out with a group of my friends on like a grassy knoll in a park by my house, and they were all drinking, and I was fully sober at that point, like
How long have you been
no
sober?
nothing, probably 2 years, I think, about
Okay,
2
it's a
years.
significant amount of time.
And I actually consider my sobriety now differently because, like, over 9 years, I had that 1-year-long stint, and then I had maybe 2 or 3 other slip-ups where I drank for, like, a day, or I had a cocktail or something. But in AA, that would make you start your clock again, and I'm like,
I
"Y'all can
know.
go fuck yourselves," because 'cause I've been mostly alcohol-free for, like, the absolute majority of 9 years, so
Yeah,
I'm not throwing that away because I had what I call a lapse, because I think the whole, like, relapse and then, like, shaming process is, um,
terrible.
shamey. That's
Mhm.
what I think. And actually, so that's what, um, and some fucking bitch came onto a live one day where I was talking about AA. And it's really funny because it's like, if you can't hear criticism about the group that you're in a fucking cult.